This is a public school in New York City that is now inviting perverted men dressed as women to come in and preach to your children. And you have to understand, this is a religious thing, right? This is a attack on basic fundamental morals that come from our religion, that come from our civilization, which was built on Christianity. This is the tearing down of that and supplanting it, the usurping of it with this absolute perversion.
Welcome back, y'all. Savannah Hernandez and Harrison Smith in the chair for the last 30 minutes of this broadcast. We've covered a lot of topics today, Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly coronavirus, a little bit of impeachment, and now we want to divert from those two topics and talk about something completely different that has kind of flown under the radar of the news because, of course, impeachment and coronavirus have taken over. And that is the fact that Drag Queen Story Hour has now made its reappearance in schools, actually its first appearance in public schools. So we know that we have been following this for a long time. Drag Queen Story Hour was something that was promoted in libraries. Parents were taking their kids to it. Well, now it's moving into public schools. A public school in Brooklyn is actually going to be teaching first graders about gender fluidity through the use of Drag Queen Story Hour. They share that a drag queen will be visiting the school, teaching students the ideas of inclusiveness, gender fluidity, gender roles, family structures, acceptance, empathy, and individuality. So that is the latest update on that. Of course, we were such strong advocates against that because we knew that it was going to start in libraries and then slowly make its way into the education system here in the U.S., and we're seeing the first examples of that. Harrison, your comments.
You presented that very calmly because I think maybe people don't understand
the severity.
What you just said. Like, Drag Queen Story Hour will now be in a public school. This is a public school in New York City that is now inviting perverted men dressed as women to come in and preach to your children. And you have to understand, this is a religious thing, right? This is a attack on basic fundamental morals that come from our religion, that come from our civilization, which was built on Christianity. This is the tearing down of that and supplanting it, the usurping of it with this absolute perversion. And that's literally what it is. And again, you know, I went to this event in Austin, Texas, where you had families getting together, begging, literally begging the school board, please do not implement this absolutely perverted, disgusting, and just this school agenda where now third graders all the way through high school, from third grade,
this is actually
and even before
first graders.
First grade, yeah, this is first graders,
not even third. And you know, Harrison, you and I went to the Women's March, and we all talked to women there, and men and transgender women. What is gender anymore? But the thing that really struck me about this is the gender fluidity part. We're now teaching first graders about gender fluidity. When I went to the Women's March, the marchers were trying to explain to me the difference between gender and sex and this new biology, the new types of pronouns, the new type of language that I need to be using to be inclusive. And that's what we're now pushing on these young kids who are very impressionable. And
look, I'm sorry, but there is a difference, and we can understand it. It's a subtle one, but a difference between transgenders, who are somebody who says, look, I legitimately believe for whatever reason that I'm in the wrong body, and so I wish to be presented, blah, blah, blah. That's not what drag queens are. And in fact, you had a drag queen recently coming out and going, look, this is an adult thing. This is like, it's a fetish. Drag queen, they know they're men. They don't say they're women. They're dressing up for sexual satisfaction. Is this difficult to understand? They have full beards. They know that they're men. They don't think they're women.
I'm glad that one of the drag queens did come forward and talk about that. He ended up going viral on Twitter, and he was saying, do you know what happens in the background of a drag queen show? People are doing drugs. People are engaging in lewd sexual acts. Children should not be in this type of environment. We shouldn't be promoting this. And again, this is not the type of environment that you should be intermingling children with.
It's insane. And that's the thing. That's what I was saying, was that So we go to this event. There's parents, there's teachers, there's grandparents. They're like, we don't want our kids being taught this as a part of the curriculum where they have to go. It's by law. They have to go and be taught about homosexuality, about masturbation, about all of this stuff that the parents are like, this is up to us and we want to introduce it when we believe they're mature enough. And the school's like, nope. First grade, we're teaching them everything. We're screwing up their entire mind. We're pulling the rug out of from their conception of reality. We're just screwing them up completely. The parents are begging, please don't do this. Who is on the other side? Who is shouting them down? Who's the one that actually gets the attention and prevents these teachers and parents and grandparents from protecting their children? It's literally a bunch of castrated 30-year-old men who tell me, they're like, yeah, I want it more perverted. I want, children to be perverted by the time they get out of school. I'm sick of your Christianity, and I'm gonna, I can't wait till kids are all sexed up and all this. Like, that's what they say. And those are the people deciding what's being taught to our kids, people that literally can never have kids because they've chemically castrated themselves.
And if this is the first time that you're hearing about Drag Queen Story Hour too, because I know we do get new viewers every single day and maybe don't understand Harrison's zest for this and anger.
Yeah, I have a zest, I say.
His anger towards this whole situation. Again, going back to the teaching children about gender fluidity and the whole transgender movement, this story just came out and it has been garnering a lot of attention. People are really upset about it. Convicted pedophile who molested infant released from jail after gender transition. Now, this is a pedophile who molested 15 children from the age of 1 to 13, but due to hormone therapy and drastic reductions in testosterone level is believed to have less chances of re-offending, official reports are now saying.
Yeah, so, if you need a babysitter, we know a guy, right? If you need somebody to come preach to your first grade class, we know a guy. And preach is the right word. It's not just talking. This is a religion. And actually, I actually have some good news. So I'm gonna convert this energy into positivity because you have William Barr coming out with a great comment, and I never quite know what to think about William Barr, Attorney General, but then he says stuff like this, and it really rejuvenates my faith in him. He says that, quote, militant secularists are imposing values on religious people. And that's exactly what's happening. This is a religious issue where people's religion is being deemed bigoted, is being deemed wrong, and is being supplanted by a state religion of homosexuality. It's absolutely insane, but would can you imagine how people would react if there were priests going in and teaching Christianity to people in school, even though Christianity is just like, love everyone be nice to everyone? They would have a hissy fit. They would never allow this. So instead, they've replaced it with a self-serving, self-worshiping, insane religion that is now being literally preached, they are preaching the gospel of transgenderism to children.
Well, and I think the Daily Caller came out with a video too, and they went to a college campus. They took the Bible out there, and I forgot what they were comparing it to, but they said which one's more dangerous. And people were pointing to the Bible. They said that the Bible's dangerous because it promotes an anti-LGBTQ view, and that's dangerous to society now. So that is completely true in society now. Religion is being deemed as bigoted, as dangerous, as something that should be silenced, and that in itself is a dangerous thing.
Yeah, the UK came out and said the Bible is incompatible with human dignity. I mean, this is a religion. And then you have, before he dropped out of the royal family, you had Harry or Pete or whatever the hell the prince's name is, going around and preaching to the world about how they need to be more inclusive and more loving and sharing everything because of climate change, right? If he was going around the world and saying, hey, I'm a Christian and this is how Christians behave and I'm, spreading this religion, then it's a religion. But no, he says it's for climate change. It's literally a religion. It has all the hallmarks, all the...
If you compare climate change to Scientology, the mindset and the brainwashing that they say to the people is the exact same thing. If you look at Scientology, they tell people, you're doing this, you're helping the world by being this way. It's the same exact thing with climate change. And if you compare the two, the similarities are astonishing. They really are.
All right, now speaking of drag queens, there is going to be a drag queen appearing in a Super Bowl ad for the first time. So huzzah, huzzah. We'll be introduced to that in the satanic ceremony. But there is some good news. South Dakota is on track to ban gender reassignment surgery and hormone therapy for children. And really great news, Texas mom who wanted to transition her 7-year-old son lost in court. Of course, that's the guy we've covered, over and over. James Younger, the son.
Great. That is
yes,
great.
James Younger will be. Will he won't be castrated for at least a little while, so we can thank God for that. And it's all insane, folks. More on the other side. Don't go anywhere. This is the War Room, and we're really just getting started, it feels.
I'm fired up, Harrison Smith.
I'm fired up, darn it.
Just over the weekend, we reported that the cases of coronavirus could possibly be 10 times higher than the official number. Now it's being confirmed. Wuhan coronavirus update, 44,000 now infected, warn University of Hong Kong researchers. And this article from Natural News links to mainstream news in Hong Kong. Of course, it's way worse than they've been saying. You've seen the people dropping dead and falling down and the hospitals totally jammed and dead bodies lying in the corners and all this craziness. This is big, with major cities completely locked down. Residents left in Wuhan, which China quarantined to stop the coronavirus, are desperately stockpiling food and fuel, leaving empty shelves and prices skyrocketing. Wuhan, coronavirus lockdown. We've got enough food to last 10 days. That was 4 days ago. Last week, there I was ordering masks and more food, and I didn't even come on air and do it myself, because there's that feeling of like, well, I'm pushing it during a crisis. Of course we should promote this during a crisis. It's all the more reason to get prepared and get ready, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this thing peters out, but it doesn't look like that. It looks like it's going to get really, really bad, and people need to have water filtration. They need to have storable food. We've got the very best units out there. And as I told you, I got this call 30 minutes ago, confirmed it from our great food supplier that produces the InfoWars Select food line, the entire line of My Patriot Supply. And they said, man, it's the worst ever. All the other big suppliers they know have sold out, can't get food. They are buying ahead a ton of food, but the prices have skyrocketed, and that's in the news as well. If you lock it in now, you will get the food within 7 to 10 days. And the price won't go up. But he said that it may by tomorrow be longer if your order gets in later until you get it, and we may have to raise prices yet again. It's just gone back to regular price. It's still a great deal. He was calling us to say, listen, surprised you didn't call me the last week. You sell a lot of food, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah, talking to him during the break. So you can sell out of that food at that price if you want, but we're having to buy out now because it's all basically been sold out, and other people aren't able to do this, so you're going to have to raise prices. I said, well, I totally understand, because we had the lowest prices of the entire My Patriot Supply system. But that's how I worked it. So take advantage of this now at InfoWarsStore.com. If you get your order in now, it'll be there within 7 to 10 days. And he doesn't think he'll have to raise prices for 4 or 5 days. And hopefully this thing isn't as bad as it looks like, because, again, that's what I'm really concerned about, is my family personally. And at a certain point, I've just gotten overwhelmed. People are like, hey, you're pretty relaxed, all this going on. It's just, stuff's gotten so insane. I'm just giving it to God. And God's saying to me, you need to get prepared. You need to get ready. So again, InfoWarsStore.com. Get your Alexa Pure water filtration system, highest rated out there. Not just because we're in a crisis, but because we're already in a crisis of how poison the water is. Everyone should be doing it. And support the InfoWar and your own family. InfoWarsStore.com.